The federal government has restated its commitment to strengthen the school feeding program by training 150,000 local cooks nationwide. The Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Hajia Sadiya Farouk, represented by Dr. Umar Bindi, made this known at the orientation program of facilitators for the National Homegrown School Feeding Program (NHGSFP). The program, convened by the National Social Investment Program (NSIP) under the School Feeding Program in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, is to train local cooks nationwide to meet the required standards of the School Feeding Initiative.
This program concentrates on the institutionalization and the full implementation of the National Homegrown School Feeding Program, which is one of the prime clusters of the National Social Investment Program. Having started this program in 2016, we're feeding nearly 10 million children nationwide in all the states of the Federation, excluding Bayelsa, which is coming on board probably in the next week or two. And this feeding process include first, empowering women within the communities where the schools are located to cook the food to the children. And these are children in public schools in classes 1 to 3. Children of the poor will now go to school. They will have a healthy meal and they will be strong and they will develop and learn properly. This is a nationwide strategy. We are going to train every single cook in the country, and we have like between 100 to 150,000 of them. Everybody will have access to the manual. They will have pictorial papers to follow. They will interact with our trainers, and we hope that this will enhance the effectiveness on the delivery of the program, from safety, from the procurement of the food and preparation, serving, relating with the children, portioning, formulating the whole thing to have good balanced meal, and so on and so forth. So it's a well-packaged program that is meant to be transmitted nationwide.
Speaking of the overview of the school feeding program, Mrs. Flora Goka, hospitality consultant with Institute for Tourism Professional of Nigeria, said the aim of the initiative by President Muhammadu Buhari, among other programs, was to lift Nigerians out of poverty through a number of social investment programs.
The National Homegrown School Feeding Program is one of the 4 suits under the National Social Investment Program, which was established by the federal government of Nigeria in 2016 in a bid to tackle poverty and hunger across the country. The trainee cook is expected at the end of this training to become functionally more competent in the production and the service of food and beverage to the desired beneficiaries, which are the school children.
In her contribution, Mrs. Chiwendu Amba, the Federal Capital Territory NSIP focal person, represented by Mrs. Clementina Okoro, Nutrition Officer, School Feeding Program FCT, explained that the program would go a long way to educate and empower local cooks more on the school feeding program requirements by the federal government.
This training is a training for the cooks on the National Homegrown School Feeding. It is to help to educate and empower the cooks so that they can cook properly for our children, starting from procurement, the foods that they procure, so that they can procure wholesome foods that will be nourishing to the children and not cause harm, foods that will not degenerate their health.